What's up, guys? Just here by my channel. Tonight I'll be doing a review for Aew Dynamite. So let's get to it then. With the segment kicking off with Heyman Page and Will Ospreay. We hear from minutes off of Heyman Page's theme music. He makes his way to the ring to word from what sounds like a hot crowd tonight. Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Taz shows some split-screen footage and hype the Owen Hart finals with Heyman and Will Ospreay. Page sells in the ring and humbly begins by saying he can't believe fans would cheer him after the things he's done. They pop and break out into a loud crowd, into a loud cowboy shit chant. Page tells the fans that just so they know it does make a difference. So thank you. All right. Oh, come on. All right. He should not have to say it, but the past 2 years have been some kind of special hell after what happened to him and his family. He wanted revenge and justice, and he found it. Heyman says he took from another man his hopes and dreams and nearly killed him. After their match, he stood on the ramp thinking he find some sort of joy and peace, but found nothing. For one moment, he thought if he could get back in the ring and finish the job, he would be happy, but he couldn't. And the truth is, he doesn't know why. He thought taking his anger out on those who get close would help, but it did nothing. So he had to make a decision. He mentions his rival by name, Swerve Strickland, prompting whose house? Swerve's house. From the crowd, Page says he will never forget what he did to him, and he will probably never forgive. But he will have to put it behind him. He talks about entering the Owen Hart Cup tournament, advancing after he wins over Josh Alexander and Kyle Fletcher. The final stop on his journey sees him taking on the man they call the best wrestler in the world today, Will Ospreay. This brings out the man himself. A big pop for Ospreay as he heads to the ring. Chants from the crowd indicate it is Ospreay's birthday as Ospreay addresses his opponent for Double Nothing. He says it's a pleasure to finally meet the Heyman, but also apologizes as he understands how much the match means to Page. One of his favorite moments is when he took the Misfits, known as the Dark Order, and gave them a leader. He says with the support, then helping him become an AEW World Champion is the moment that was perfect. But after he lost it, everything changed. Well, Will gets it. It's been a rough couple years for Heyman. Last week, Ospreay and everyone else saw something from Page after he beat Kyle Fletcher, something we haven't seen in a while. We saw Adam smiling. Ospreay talks about everyone wanting to see Page rise back up, but he has one problem with that. At Double Nothing, Ospreay is not losing. He addresses what Page did to Jeff Jarrett, Christopher Daniels, and Swerve Strickland, saying Ospreay's been handling all the media and other jobs that Page doesn't. He calls the Heyman out by saying this is not about his redemption, but Ospreay's ascension. The two stand nose to nose, arguing with no mic between them, and when the Don Callis family shows up on the stage, Callis runs down Ospreay for leaving his family, though he is nearly drowned out by the crowd booing him. Don asks Will if he knows who he's standing in the ring with, calling Page a sociopath. This angered the Heyman, but Ospreay holds him back as he calls for Don to pick any two of his men to face the pair. He struggles to get through this in part of because of the crowd giving out to Don Callis. And then when Page grabs his hand in retaliation, Callis takes advantage of the attention by accepting the offer, suggesting that Page might have another mental breakdown in the process. The family walks away as Page and Ospreay exchange some more words to each other before Heyman leaves the ring. The eventful opening segment wraps up on that note. Alright, so after that, FTR was bothering Tony Schiavone again. A graphic for the match set up, and the opening segment is shown for next week as the commentator discusses along with the other matches on the docket for Beach Break next week in Chicago. As this continues, FTR and Stokely Hathaway approach the announce table. Stokely wants to know if Tony has a problem with FTR. They issued an apology, but next week after week, he still has negative things to say about them. He referred to Stokely as a snake in the grass. Tony, you are decrypted pasty pale piece of Tony cuts that off, but he gets shoved back into his seat. Wheeler tells Shivani to sit down and relax. Garcia said, "You say you want answers. You gave us no choice. You chose us. You turned your back on us." His daddy told him you had to learn lessons the hard way. This is going to hurt them a lot more than it's going to hurt them emotionally. Harwood tells Tony to tell Nigel they'll see him tomorrow night. All right. So, anyways, first match finally. AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator. Thomas Twin Storm versus Thunder Rosa versus Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford. All right, backstage, see Anna Jay Hardy Cameron standing next to him. About Hardy had her fat ass next last week. Do you have her fat ass next week tonight? Together they have the tenacity and the aggression. Cameron says Jay follow up tits and ass, and Cameron responds says that too. Jay hops on Hardy back and off they go. That was money. Inside the arena, things go from color to black and white as we hear from the sounds. Everybody, everybody made their entrances and stuff. The bell sounds official already with this one. Thunder Rosa and Storm watch Ford and Jay go at each other in the corner with that fight spilling to the outside. The champ goes at it with Rosa, uh, who takes Tony to Rose for a low drop kick covered by Rosa, but Ford breaks the pin. Sorry guys. Storm is out of the ring as Ford and Thunder go at it with Penelope dodging a senton before sending her to the ropes. Drop kick to the back. To the back sends Rosa to the mat, but Anna breaks up the pin that falls. Anna hits a flurry of offense on Penelope for the cover, but Storm stops the pin before landing some stomps and fisherman suplex, only for Ford to break the pin. Storm gets to the outside with Anna following close behind just as Ford hits a moonsault to drop on both of them. They rise to their feet alongside Penelope, only to be brought back to the floor hard to fall her by a dive from Rosa. On that note, the show sails into a mid-match commercial break as the action continues. Shit, come on. When the show returns, Ford and Storm have returned to the ring and go at it before Rosa intervenes, forcing them out before Jay comes in for a near fall on the former champ. The action spills to the outside as Rosa hits a DT, taking Jay down, but they and Storm find themselves a victim of a big dive from Penelope Ford. The action returns to the ring with a chain of corner splashes before Storm hits a running hip attack and then offering herself as a base for a running dropkick from Thunder Rosa. Rosa and Storm look for a suplex on Ford as Megan Bayne makes her way to the ring, taking advantage of the no disqualification stipulation of this match by laying into Storm and Rosa. Jay fights back before being attacked by Ford, allowing Bayne to hit a sit-out powerbomb. Hard Cameron comes out for the save with a pipe, using it as an equalizer as she sends Megan up the ramp and to the back in the ring before it connects with a death lock on Jay. Storm breaks it up with a nasty kick down low, followed by a chicken wing crossface, forcing Ford to tap out, giving the champ the victory in her latest title eliminator bout. After the match, Storm celebrates and gives a high five to Rosa. The commentator's hype action still to come out. We head to another commercial break. So winner is Thomas Tony Storm. Alright. We have a segment with the Hurt Syndicate stuff. We head back to ringside where crew can be seen getting to their seats before the Hurt Syndicate make their way out to chants of "We Hurt People" by the fans in Detroit. MVP gets a microphone to make an official announcement for the Hurt Syndicate, introducing Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley to a pop from the crowd. He reminds us that they are the AEW World Tag Team Champions. He asks where all the best tag teams to face and try take the titles away from the Hurt Syndicate and outcome top flight. They address their struggles as of late before saying they look at this as an opportunity. Hurt Syndicate like to hurt people and they know how to get back up from being hurt. They know they're underdogs in this fight, but they also know they can hold their own against the top teams in the business. They ask if the Mortal wants to see a miracle, but MJF blindsides them. He lays into Dante and Darius, sending them into the steps, and in the ring, post respectively the crowd recognizing what this is chant. We heard people as MJF continues to well hurt top flight. He hops onto the apron, staring at Bobby Lashley as he enters the ring. MVP hands Freeman the mic, and MJF declares that he heard people to a big pop from the crowd. All right, Lashley takes the mic from him, and then from him, the crowd still chanting, "We heard people," as all the mighty smiles at Max before telling him he'll have an answer next week. This gets boost from the crowd as MJF's music hits, allowing him to leave up the ramp as the syndicate looks on. That's how the latest MJF and her second saga wraps up. For now, Jamie, I'm sorry, guys. All right, backstage, we see the Elite are addressing their opponents in the Trios match later before Konosuke Okada tells Kevin Knight, "Good night, bitch." Before walking out, Ricochet confirms that he can help the Bucks solve the Strickland problem tonight. He tells them to follow his lead in their match later. He'll lead them to victory. They walk off as the Bucks head into her office. They see the Dead Riders waiting for them. All right, second match coming up: ROH Television Championship. Nick Wayne was a champion. Backside arena, Nick Wayne's theme hits, but he is immediately caught out. Justin Roberts even stars as it does as Christian Cage theme hits to replace. Out he comes with Nick Wayne's ROH TV title over his shoulder. Wayne is occupied by the patriarch said to face someone from Christian Cage's past. Up next, on that note, we had to quick match push break. When return, Justin Roberts introduced the opponent, Rhino. The crowd explodes. Rhino gets the upper hand on the champ quickly, forcing him to outside for a breather and a word of advice from the patriarch. The crowd is going nuts for him as after his initial offense onslaught, Wayne takes over, hits Christian's finisher on Rhino and pins him. The fans chant bullshit, bullshit after the hometown legend is tooled. In some few minutes, Christian does a big dramatic show of putting the ROH TV title on Wayne, only to take it back off and throw it on the mat. He rapidly walks off as Kip Sabian follows behind him, and with Nick Wayne in disbelief as usual. So winner is still ROH Television Champion Nick Wayne. Alright, next match is Swerve Strickland, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet and the Young Bucks. We hear a word from Rouge, who tells Night coming from Nice and blah blah blah. Alright, Swerve Strickland comes out and stuff, and they still Mark Briscoe and Speedball make their way. Some blah blah. Pyros and stuff. All 6% are in the ring, and the fans are loudly chanting Swerve Strickland. Swerve's house. The bell sounds. I'm pretty sure with what should be one of the best matches of the evening. We start off with Strickland and Ricochet with a sort of getting the upper hand before tagging in Speedball, who gets a near fall in the process. Ricochet turns things around with the assist from the Bucks before sending and entering Strickland into a kick from the Bucks. Chaos ensues as the trio get the jump on Briscoe, as well as standing tall in the ring before their opponents get up. The Bucks and Ricochet then quick escape. The Bucks leave Ricochet alone on the apron for a boot that sends him to the floor. We see a dive from Bailey, Strickland, and Briscoe onto the Bucks, and Ricochet. The action returns to the ring with Bailey tagging in Mark for a double team on Briscoe before Briscoe gets sent through the ropes to the outside. Swerve comes running in, but gets dropped by Ricochet as the Bucks lay out Briscoe, and then Bailey. Chaos and sways once more until Ricochet hits a big 450 splash on Briscoe. Off that note, the show shifts gears and sails into a mid-match commercial break as the action continues. When the show returns, Ricochet lays into Mark Briscoe before sending him to the ropes, only to take it as a guri that allows Mark to tag in Speedball. Matthew tags in as well, but faces a flurry of offense from Bailey, who gets a 2 count. Nicholas tries to intervene when Bailey goes up to up top, but he takes a hurricane, sending him onto Matthew on the floor. Action returns to the ring as Bailey gets covered, but Richie breaks up the pin. A whirl of offense from all six men ends up with a house call from Strickland. Bailey reaches for a tag to swerve, but is caught up by the Bucks, only for Speedball to fight his way to the ring. To the tag. I'm sorry. Strickland is in and goes up on the Bucks, going up for an uppercut, and the greedy for a good measure. Ricochet tries to intervene, but he's sent right back out of the ring, and Strickland hits a double suplex on Bugs before countering a hurricane from Ricochet. Backbreaker on Matthew as Briscoe and Bailey run down on him. Frogging Bo connects from Mark as Swerve gets covered, but Nicholas breaks up the pin and just in time. Chaos spills to the outside as Swerve goes for a house call. Matthew on Matthew, waiting for the EVP to sneak a small package to get the win out of nowhere. Excellent match as you expect. Yeah, it was a good match. So winners are Ricochet and the Young Bucks. All right, we go backstage where Renee talks to Ospreay about the tag match set for next week. Ospreay is interrupted by MJF, who makes an AW Shavit Shield before talking about wanting to see Ospreay win the Owen and go on to get his AEW World Championship at All In Texas. From there, Ospreay mocks MJF by suggesting he is afraid to face him again, but Freeman insists that he wants to prove that ain't nobody on the level of the devil. Osprey reminds him that he is on another level. The show has to encourage break. Alright, we have a sit down with Jimmy Hayter and all stuff. Alright, shit. Alright, Renee Paquette is backstage for a sit down interview with Jamie Hare, who talks about what the Owen Hart Cup finals against Mercedes Monet means for she runs down Mercedes Monet in her remarks last week, calling the TBS champion the athletes or something with what Owen Hart stands for. She wants to know the women behind the hype. She also talks about feeling insulted by Mercedes, saying she reminds her of herself. I mean, Hare doesn't have the same star power, but she does have an integrity, grit, and truth. This is about showing Monet that she is unstoppable. Jamie pivots away from addressing her past back issues, but is soon interrupted by Mercedes Monet attacking her from behind. They fight out of the room as we head to back to ringside. Sure enough, we find them duking it out in the box seats. Mercedes runs away, heading to the ramp before managing to dodge a hater train to escape to the back. Haters music hits, but not for long as Monet blindsides her before locking in the statement maker. Officials rush down to break it up, and Mercedes finally breaks the hold before posing with the Owen Hart Cup trophy that ends the eventful multi-segment. So Chris Allen tries to make up Willow to love. All right, we have a little backstage thing. Promo. Oh, we had backstage once again where this time we hear from Willow Nightingale. She addresses the Death Riders before Chris Statler walks up and confronts her. The issues the issues they had in the past bubble back up. Willow refuses to address it directly, but she does offer a challenge Statlander for a match on Collision tomorrow night. Statlander accepts it's made official. Our next match, AW Continental Championship Eliminator Kanushka Okada who was a champion versus Kevin Knight. Inside the ring, once again, we hear ringers on blah blah. Kevin Knight music as the jab comes out next, but he gets blindsided by Rouge from behind. Rouge attacks Kevin, sending him into the barricade before making the exit. Speedball Mike Bailey runs down to check on him, but Knight insists he's good to go. Bailey is told to leave ringside before the match gets officially started. The bell sounds and off we go. Okada takes advantage of the damage done by Rouge to get a set of near falls early on, but Knight shows his technique but each time by managing to kick out. Kevin crawls to the corner where the champ mocks him with some boots into the face. Knight manages to fight back with some right hands in the center of the ring. He charges as at Okada in the corner, but is forced to outside by the champ. On that note, the show shifts gears and sells a match mid-match commercial break. When the show returns, Okada finishes things off with the Rainmaker. Afterwards, he hits him with more Rainmakers for no good reason until Speedball hits the ring to run him off. So winner is Konosuke Okada. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Samoa Joe versus Casanova. Main event time. But first, see some matches on stand blah for tomorrow. Alright, inside the arena again, Cosmo music, blah blah, music dies out, the entrance tomb for Joe hits the bell sounds. Alright, the bell sounds and fans immediately began with the Joe's gonna kill you chants. Claudio sends Joe to the corner to lay in some offense before the ref intervenes. He backs away and Joe locks up with him, sending Casanoli to the corner, this time only to take a cheap shot as he backs off. Claudio goes after him, but soon gets locked into Corona clutch, grabbing the ropes to Ay, damn it, man. I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm not even that tired. So, anyways, grabbing the ropes to force a break. Alright, that shit spills to the outside as Joe sends Casanova to the barricade, but Claudio turns it around looking for a running lariat on the man who took the trio's towels from him and his crew. This is met with a big urine from Joe, sending Casanova to the floor before the action returns to the ring. Claudio catches him, however, laying in some chops in the quarter, only for Joe to counter, eventually hitting a running enziguri on Castle. He says Claudio for a muscle buster, but Claudio fights him off, dropping his arm onto the top rope. On that note, we shift gears and head to mid-match commercial break. When the show returns, we see Claudio holding Joe into a rest spot. Joe fights back and escapes. Claudio hits the ropes, but Joe catches him coming off of them with the speed style power slam. Justin Rhodes style. Dustin Rhodes style. I'm sorry, I didn't say that right. Claudio fights back and looks for the giant swing, but Joe blocks it and locks it in submission for the win. After the match, Dead Riders try and hit the ring for a post-match beatdown. Instead, we get a repeat of the last Death Riders angle, building up a big world title match where Adam Copeland made Jon Moxley watch as his Death Riders were taken out week by week. Powerhouse Hobbs joins Joe in destroying Casanova as Mox angrily watches from the crowd. That's how the show got so blah blah. Alright, so winner is Samoa Joe. Alright, good show tonight. It wasn't that bad tonight. I kind of enjoyed tonight's stuff. I mean, there were some good matches and stuff and some good moments and stuff. So Rhino, man, I didn't expect him to come out, all that stuff. So that's cool because they were in the ECW or I think around arena and stuff. So something like that, yeah. So anyways, it was a good show tonight. Not too bad. So yeah. Anyways, that was it for this video. Hope you like it, not whatever stuff. So like, subscribe, hit the button, leave a comment. And you guys want to leave a comment on characters? That was it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night for AEW Collision. All right, which is because of the basketball games. Which is tomorrow, which will be on TBS. Also, yeah. So AEW Collision will be on TBS tomorrow night and all that stuff. So no Saturday night this coming because of basketball, and also is WWE Backlash 2025 this Saturday and stuff. So yeah. So anyways, that was it. I'll see you guys in tomorrow night. All right, and it will be very late. Just letting you guys know the video will be uploaded very late because I'll be watching AW Collision late and stuff. So yeah, I gotta record it or probably watch it on the Max or something. I don't know. I don't really fucking care. So anyways, that was it. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. All right, laters.